Hey guys, this is Jason Dunn here from Digital Home Thoughts, and today I'm looking at something that I'm actually pretty excited about. I see a lot of technology, and frankly, sometimes I get a little bit jaded, and I'm not very excited about some of the things that I look at because I've seen a lot of stuff before. This is the Panasonic GF1. This is a digital SLR camera using the Micro Four Thirds system, and one of the reasons I'm particularly excited about this is because this type of design represents something that's radically different than anything else on the market today. So we're going to do a quick unboxing and first impressions video here, and then I will of course follow up with my own review video, a few weeks or maybe a month after the fact once I've had a chance to really use this. I will point out that I did purchase this myself directly from Panasonic, so this is not a review unit that I have to ship back. This is something that I was really looking forward to personally, and yeah, so there we go. Now I'll crack it open here and we will see what's inside the box, and this is definitely a real unboxing because I haven't actually seen this before. This looks like it's going to be a lens case for the lens, although maybe I should take a look at it, because the version that I ordered actually has the 20mm pancake lens, and so this is of course way too big to be a case for that, so that's a little bit confusing. We'll just set that aside. We have a camera strap, not very exciting, although it does say GF1 on it. We have the camera itself. So here we go. There it is. Okay, so yeah, here is the Panasonic GF1. Now I'm gonna flip this open just briefly. No lens. Okay, so this looks a lot like a point-and-shoot camera. It looks a lot like, frankly, like sort of a bigger point-and-shoot camera. You know, like a Panasonic or a Canon, GF9, GF11, something like that. But instead, this is actually digital SLR, and the reason why is, of course, is that you can change the lenses on this particular unit. So I'm just going to set that just sort of right over there for a moment, and we'll just keep going through this. Looks like we have a battery charger here, and unfortunately it looks like you have to plug it into a wall. I always preferred when the battery chargers have the prongs built in the back, and it's just sort of an all-in-one unit, so I kind of wish Panasonic would have done something a little bit different there. Let's see what else we have here. It looks like gobs of paperwork. Oh my god, look at how much paper they ship with this thing. It's like a couple of trees right there, small trees. Anyway, yeah, so we have the user guide here, the operating instructions, and boy, they should be provided in a lot of different languages. So anyway, we'll just set that aside. Pretty boring, although I will say that camera manuals are one of the few manuals that I will actually read. I tend to not read most manuals, but camera manuals I always read because I want to make sure that I'm getting the most out of the product that I have. Okay, sorry, that was a little bit noisy there. I just want to get this box out of the way so we can take a look at what is left here. This is the battery. So this is a pretty hefty battery, actually. This is, again, more the size of battery that you see in a digital SLR versus the size of battery you see in a point-and-shoot camera. And the battery is 1250 milliamps, so it provides a decent amount of power. What we have here are the AV cables and also a sync cable. So yeah, so here's the AV, and again, nothing, I mean, we're just talking composite. The camera does have HDMI out, but I'm assuming that you need to have the Panasonic specific cable, and this is of course the sync cable. Now I'm looking at this tip here, and I'll have to kind of double check, but that looks like a proprietary tip. That doesn't look like micro USB or any kind of industry standard. I will do a bit of research on that though and verify that that is the case. And we have some software here. Looks like it is Photo Fun Studio, probably ArcSoft, and something called SilkyPix. I'm not even sure if I'm going to check this out. Probably not. Frankly, most of the software that comes with cameras is so decidedly awful that I just tend to avoid it. So here we go. So here is the lens. So as you can see, it's a very small lens. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to we'll take this off here. So this is a 20mm lens, and we line up the 2 red dots. I'm going to assume, since I've never done this before. Yeah, there we go. We line up the 2 red dots, and then boom, there we go. So there is the GF1. Oh, and of course we also have the power cable. So the GF1. Let me pop open the bottom here. I don't know if this battery has any charge, but I'm going to go ahead and pop it in anyway. So we'll start off. There is the SD card slot right there. So that is an SDHC card slot, meaning as of today you can put a 32 gigabyte SD card in there, so you can get tons and tons of storage. Yeah, and here is the camera. So what makes this camera so interesting is that it has a sensor that is digital SLR sized, but it's something that you can fit, you know, in the pocket of your jacket or something. It's something you can carry with you with relative ease. Now, let's talk about the sensor for a second, because that's really what makes this camera special. So the image sensor on the GF1 here is 17.3 millimeters by 13 millimeters. Okay, so what does that mean exactly? Let me just zoom in here a little bit. So what that means, the bigger an image sensor is, the larger the individual pixels are, assuming that we're talking about the same type of resolution. And the larger the pixels are, the more effective they are at gathering light. Now, what that means that when you are shooting in low light situations, meaning you're not using a flash, and I mean, a lot of life is in sort of low light situations. You know, you're indoors at a party, you're shooting during the evening, you're in the shade, even on a bright sunny day. It doesn't really matter what it is. Available light photography is the way a lot of photographers, myself included, really prefer to shoot, because as soon as a flash comes up, the whole thing can get kind of ugly. Now, I will point out that the GF1 does actually have a flash. I believe it pops up over here, and that's a little bit different than some of the other cameras on the market, like the Olympus. So it has a nice big sensor. That means it is more sensitive at collecting light. So I'm going to give you a bit of an example here. The Panasonic ZS3, the red camera that I reviewed not too long ago, that has a pixel density, if memory serves, of 45 million pixels per square inch. Okay, so 45 million pixels. This camera has sorry, I think I said square inch. It's a square centimeter, of course. This camera is, I believe, 5 million pixels per square inch. So what that means is that this thing is a magnitude greater in terms of being able to take low light pictures and be able to yeah, just take really fantastic pictures. Now, my Nikon D300 has a value of 3.3. So 3.3 and 5 pretty close together. 5 and 45, not really close together at all. So let me tell you a little bit more about the GF1. So it has a 12.1 megapixel sensor. It has a dust reduction system that's based on the supersonic wave filter. It uses the micro four thirds mount, as I mentioned. It has a bunch of ISO settings, so very similar to a larger size digital SLR. You can do pretty much anything you want in terms of manual mode here. ISO sensitivity is all the way from auto or 100 all the way up to 3200. It has a bunch of manual white balance settings. You can set exposures, the light metering system in here, so when you have it in matrix metering mode, and I'm not 100% sure if it has multiple metering modes. I would assume so, but I will find out. It has a 144 zone multi-pattern sensing system, so that means that you can check out a bunch of different types of light sources with it, and it will adjust. It has the ability to record in JPEG and of course in RAW. I'll probably be shooting in RAW exclusively. You saw on the front here, probably, it has the AVCHD Lite little logo here. And so, of course, what that means is that this thing can shoot 720p videos. And I'm going to be really intrigued, to see what the quality on that is like, because of course this has a larger sensor, so it's going to be closer to my Nikon D5000, let's say, in terms of quality. So I'm going to wrap up part 1 right here, because I want to get this out on more video sharing sites than just YouTube. So this has been Jason Dunn from Digital Home Thoughts. Thanks for watching part 1 of my unboxing and first impressions video of the GF1. Stay tuned for part 2.